So, why this arrangement? Because of this reason, anyone who comes in touch with Tulasi tree lives eternally in the Vaikuntha world. So, Tulasi is such a dear devotee of Lord Krishna. Vrinda Devi, Krishna's city is called Vrindavan. Vrindavan, a forest of Tulasi. That's the meaning. So Vrindavan is a place you can see Tulasi everywhere. Goloka Vrindavan, in the Goloka planet, you can see Tulasi everywhere. And that means Tulasi is so dear to the Lord. It is said that Krishna will not accept any offering that has no Tulasi in it. If you offer Krishna food, drinks, whatever, and there is no Tulasi in it, Krishna will not accept. And that shows how important Tulasi is. So therefore, from the very beginning of this movement, Srila Prabhupada introduced Tulasi worship in the temples. Actually, Tulasi is supposed to be worshipped morning and evening. Morning after the Mangalarati program, and evening before the Arati Sundarati program. And most temples in India, they still follow this standard. At 6 o'clock, they have Tulasi Arati in the evening, then 6:30 they have Gora Arati. In the morning, right after Mangala Arati, the next worship is Tulasi. Of course, Mangalati followed by Narasimhadev prayers, and then followed by Tulasi prayers. So this is the standard Srila Prabhupada has given us, because Tulasi is such a special devotee that by worshipping her, we are pleasing Krishna. In the Skanda Purana, it is said, Yadrishtavani Roganam Abhivadantita Nirashani Shiktanka Tarishini. Seeing Tulasi destroys all sins. Touching her purifies the body. Bowing down to her destroys diseases. Sprinkling her with water delivers one from birth and death. Furthermore, it is said, Pratyashati Vidayani Bhagavata Krishnasya Sampitaha. Planting her bestows attachment of the mind to Krishna. Nyastachacharani Vimukti Palada Tasyai Tulasyai Namaha. Offering her to Krishna's lotus feet bestows special liberation. That is full development of Krishna Prem. So these are the wonderful results one obtains by worshipping Tulasi. Simply by seeing Tulasi, all sins are destroyed. Simply by touching Tulasi, one's body becomes purified. Simply by bowing down before Tulasi, one becomes free from disease. Simply by sprinkling water on Tulasi, one is delivered from going to the abode of Yamaraj. Simply by planting her, one bestows attachment of the mind to Krishna. Simply by offering Tulasi to the lotus feet of the Lord, it bestows special liberation, that is, full development of Krishna Prem. So therefore, seeing Tulsi, touching Tulsi, meditating on Tulsi, glorifying Tulsi, bowing down before Tulsi, praising Tulsi, planting Tulsi, serving Tulsi, or worshiping Tulsi is very auspicious. Those who worship Tulsi daily or by any of these methods daily, they are actually residents of the Vaikuntha planets. They become qualified to live in the Vaikuntha planets. And that is why Srila Prabhupada has given us Tulsi to worship. In fact, because of Srila Prabhupada's introduction of Tulsi worship in the temples, all the Gaudiya Mat temples are also following the same standard. Before then, it wasn't like that. But because the Prabhupada introduced the worship of Tulsi after Mangarati and in the evening before Sundarati, now we see most of the temples, Gaudiya Mat temples in India, they are also following this standard. So, Srila Prabhupada is so kind. He has introduced the worship of Tulsi to the devotees in the ISKCON movement, and now it has become a worldwide activity in all temples. Somebody like to read this?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, go ahead and read.
Reading literature, enunciating the cultivation of devotional service is glorious. In the Skanda Purana, there is this statement: a person who is constantly engaged in reading literature, enunciating the cultivation of Vaishnava devotional service is always glorious in human society. And certainly, Lord Krishna becomes pleased with him. A person who very carefully keeps such literature at home and offers respectful obeisances to it becomes freed from all sinful reactions and ultimately becomes worshipable by the demigods. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, just keeping the Shastra, the very literatures, in one's home, there is great benefit. What to speak of reading them on daily basis. A person who constantly engage in reading literatures, enunciating the cultivation of the Vaishnava devotional service is always glorious in human society. And certainly Lord Krishna becomes pleased with him. So, Swadhyaya means studying the scriptures. Swadhyaya is part of our sadhana bhakti, part of our daily practices. On daily basis, one should read from the Vedic literatures. There should be time for reading. Just as there is time to chant, there is time to attend class, there is time to take prasadam, there is also time for reading. There should be time for reading the Vedic literatures. So it should be part of our sadhanas, studying the Vedic scriptures. So one who studies the Vedic scriptures, his life becomes very glorious. And one attracts the attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Madhvacharya has defined the revealed scriptures as referring to books such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, the Puranas, the Upanishads, the Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all of these are considered the revealed scriptures or the Vedic scriptures. Glorious are those people who hear and read Vaishnava scriptures. Krishna becomes satisfied with such persons. Just by studying these scriptures, we are pleasing Krishna because these scriptures describe Krishna. So by reading these books, by studying these books, Krishna is most pleased. Those who worship the Vaishnava scriptures in their home, they become free of all sins and are praised by the demigods. Lord Narayan himself lives in the house where Vaishnava scriptures are kept, worshipped, and studied. So just by having a set of Srimad Bhagavatam in your home, or Chaitanya Charitamrita in your home, or Bhagavad Gita in your home, or the Sandarbhas, 6 Sandarbhas on Jiva Goswami in your home, all of these literatures, they bring auspiciousness to wherever they are. So just by keeping such scriptures at home, they are as good as the Supreme Lord himself. So therefore, every devotee must have these sets of books in his home. Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all of Vedanta philosophy. Sarva Vedanta Sharamhi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishate. Rasamrita Taptasya Nanyatrasya Rati Kwachit. Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who derives satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other type of literature. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence. Vedanta Sara is the essence of the Vedic literatures. And anyone who regularly reads, studies, and relishes its mellows will never be attracted by any other type of scriptures. So reading Vedic literatures, studying Vedic literatures on a daily basis is auspicious for any soul who wants to make advancement on the path of Krishna consciousness. Even the demigods, they worship such a being. Somebody wants to read this?
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Who wants to read?
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
Importance of residing in Mathura.
Yeah.
In the Varaha Purana, there is a statement praising the residential quarters of Mathura. Lord Varaha tells the man of earth, I quote, any person who becomes attracted to places other than Mathura will certainly be captivated by the illusory energy, unquote. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said that all the results of traveling on all the pilgrimages within the three worlds can be achieved simply by touching the holy land of Mathura. In many Shastras, scriptures, it is said that simply by hearing, remembering, glorifying, desiring, seeing, or touching the land of Mathura, one can achieve all desires. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12. Sorry.
Thank you. So, Mathura is a very exalted place. Shamam Rupam Paror Rasaha. Lord Chaitanya is telling Raghupati Upadhyaya that the form of the Lord called Shama Sundara, that is the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mathura is the abode, the eternal abode of that supreme form. Shamam Rupa. Mathura Puri Varaha. That the abode of Mathura, that is where the Lord manifests his presence in this world. Krishna appeared in Mathura. And the very spot where Krishna appeared is still there. If you go to Mathura, it's called Krishna Bhumi. Jarman Bhumi is still there. Where Kamsa's prison house was, where Vasudeva and Devaki, they were imprisoned and Krishna was born. So the very place where Krishna appeared into this world is considered very, very auspicious. And that is in Mathura. So the Brahmanda Purana is saying that all the results of traveling on all the pilgrimages within the three worlds can be achieved simply by touching the holy land of Mathura. In fact, it is said that simply by hearing, remembering, glorifying, desiring to, and seeing or touching the land of Mathura can bring forth all kinds of desires. One can achieve all kinds of desires. So therefore, Mathura is such a wonderful place that everyone should be eager to go to see Mathura. One who is attracted to places other than Mathura wanders in the material world birth after birth, bewildered by Maya. This is found in the Varaha Purana. The bliss of Prema, which is really obtained even by serving all the holy places in the three worlds, is achieved simply by touching the land of Mathura. Just by a touch of the land of Mathura, one can experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Simply by hearing, remembering, glorifying, desiring, seeing, or touching the land of Mathura, one can achieve all desires. So Mathura is worshipable because Lord Krishna appeared there. On this planet Earth, Lord Krishna made his appearance in Mathura. So therefore, that place called Mathura is the most sacred place. And within the Mathura district, we have Vrindavan, we have Gokul, where Krishna performed his childhood pastimes. So Vrindavan, Mathura, they are very, very auspicious, very special, and somehow or the other, one must go there to see the land, to touch the land, to feel the land in this lifetime. Even it's said, just by sleeping one night in Mathura, just sleeping one night in Mathura, one becomes qualified to live in Vaikuntha. Just one night. So Mathura is such a special place that everyone must make an endeavor to visit in order to make one's life auspicious. Somebody can read this one?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yeah, go ahead.
Worship, worship of the devotees is superior to worship of the Lord. In the Padma Purana, there is a 9 statement praising the service of the Vaishnavas or devotee. In that scripture, Lord Shiva tells Parvati, "My dear Parvati, there are different methods of worship, and out of all such methods, the worship of the Supreme Person is considered to be the highest. But even higher than the worship of the Lord is the worship of the Lord's devotees." Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnav. Param Vaishnav Yata Sambhu. Lord Shiva is a great devotee of the Lord. And Lord Shiva is making this statement. Aradhana Nam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Param Taram Devi Tadiyanam Samachanam. He says, of all types of worship, worship of Vishnu or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is supreme, or Devi, but the worship of his devotees is even superior to the worship of the Supreme Lord. In other words, Krishna feels much more happier when his devotees are honored, when his devotees are served, when his devotees are worshipped. Krishna feels much more joyful than when he is worshipped. So that is the mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to see that his devotees are worshipped. In fact, Krishna, even though he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he enjoys playing a subsidiary position or subservient position to his devotees. We see Krishna acting as the son of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj. And Krishna is carrying Nanda Maharaj's shoes on his head. Krishna is sent by Nanda Maharaj to bring him his shoes. And Krishna is happily carrying the father's shoes. We also see Krishna accepts to be chastised by his mother, Yashoda Mai. Krishna, he considers his devotee superior to him. That is how Krishna feels about his devotees. Therefore, we see that one great devotee of the Lord, he says that let everybody worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for me, I will worship Nanda Maharaj because Nanda Maharaj is so great that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is crawling in the compound of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is so great that the Supreme Brahman is crawling in the compound of Nanda Maharaj. Shrutim apare, smritim itare. Bharatam anye bhajantu bhava bitaha. Aham ihanandavande yashyalinge param brahma. Aham ihanandavande. Nandavande means my obeisances unto Nanda Maharaj. Yashyalinde param brahman. In the compound of Nanda Maharaj, the Supreme Brahman is crawling there as a baby. So Nanda Maharaj is so exalted that the Supreme Lord takes a subservient position in his home. Therefore, let me worship Nanda Maharaj. Others can worship the Shrutis, that is the Vedas. Others can worship the Smritis, the Puranas. Others, they can worship whatever they want to worship. But for me, I will prefer to worship Nanda Maharaj because Nanda Maharaj is so exalted that the Supreme Brahman has now become a baby in his compound. The Supreme Brahman is now crawling in the compound of Nanda Maharaj. So that shows how important a devotee is, that Krishna prefers to accept his devotee as superior to him. Therefore, worshiping the devotees is of great importance. And Krishna makes this statement in this slide. Becoming a devotee or mind devotee actually makes one mind devotee. Interesting. In the Adi Purana, there is the following statement by Lord Krishna himself. My dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be the devotee or my devotee is actually my devotee. No one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. One must approach him through his pure devotees. Therefore, in the system of Vaishnava activities, the first duty is to accept a devotee as spiritual master and then to render service unto him. Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Kripa, Bhakti Swabhava. one cannot get Krishna's mercy without first getting the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So the first principle in devotional service is sadhu sangha. We don't know Krishna. We have not met Krishna, but we have met the devotees of Krishna. And because of the mercy of the devotees of Krishna, we are introduced to Krishna. So to know Krishna means to meet his devotees. In a discussion between King Nimi and the Nava-Yujendras, the 9 sannyasi sons of Rishabhadev, it says, Dulabam manashodeho, Dulabam manashodeho, dehinam shana bangura. That the human form of life is very rarely achieved. It's very difficult. Dularbam, something which is very difficult to achieve. And even though it's so difficult to achieve, Dehinam Shana Bangura, those who are embodied, those who are material bodies, these material bodies can be destroyed in a second. Shana Bangura, it can be destroyed in 1 second. And that is the case of this body. It's so delicate. One big bang, and that's the end of it. You are traveling very safely in a car, and all of a sudden there's a crash, and the body is destroyed. You're riding in your airplane, and there is a crash, and hundreds of people all perish at once. So this body, even though it's very rare to get, it is very easily destroyed. However, the benefit of getting this body is to gain the association of the devotees of the Lord. Vaikuntha Priya Darshanaha. The purpose of getting the human form is to associate with the devotees of the Lord of Vaikuntha. So if one gains this human form of life and he's not able to utilize it to gain the association of the devotees of the Lord, it is considered that he has wasted his life. It's a wasted wealth. Labdwa anityam. Labdwa means to obtain. Anityam means a temporary material body. Artadam. Artadam means great wealth. Arta, great wealth. So when you get this material body of a human being, you have the chance of gaining great wealth. Even though it is temporary. Labdwa anityam artadam. Even though it is temporary, one has the opportunity to gain great wealth by meeting the devotees. Because if you meet the devotees, then surely you'll be able to know the Lord. You will come to know the Lord. Because the devotees, they will introduce you to Krishna. And that is how we have all come to know about Krishna consciousness, because we met the devotees of the Lord and they kindly introduced us to the process of Krishna consciousness. And by our constant practice, we are beginning to realize how important this Krishna consciousness is. So therefore, meeting the Vaishnavas, serving the Vaishnavas, seeing the Vaishnavas, touching the Vaishnavas is the most wonderful thing. Yat sevaya bhagavata kutastasya madhu duishaha rati raso bhava trivra Padayo Vyasana Danaha. One who serves a Vaishnava, one who associates with a Vaishnava, one who worships a Vaishnava, one who appreciates a Vaishnava, such a person becomes dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. So we should always be very eager to render some service to the Vaishnavas. Even just by remembering the Vaishnavas is a great fortune for us. Yeshams samsmaranta pumsham sadhya sudyanti vaigrihaha kimpurna darshana sparsha pada sochasana dimir. Simply by our remembering the Vaishnavas, simply by hearing them speak, simply by seeing the Vaishnavas, what to speak of washing their lotus feet and taking the association is a great boon for our spiritual progress. And that's why Lord Chaitanya is saying, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoy. That a moment's association with a Vaishnava is the greatest gift the living entity can achieve in this material world. Because as soon as we come in touch with a Vaishnava, then it is going to be possible that we can come in touch with the spiritual world. We can come in touch with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So meeting Vaishnavas, serving Vaishnavas is a great boon to the living entity. And so Krishna is saying here that you cannot be his devotee. Nobody can be the devotee of the Lord directly without first becoming a devotee of his devotee. Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktascha janaha. Mad bhakta nam chaye bhaktas, te me bhaktatma mataha. Those who claim to be my devotees are not my devotees. Those who are the devotees or my devotees, I consider them my real devotees. In other words, no one can approach the Lord directly. One must approach him through his pure devotees. Therefore, the first duty is to accept a devotee as guru and then render service unto him. All the angas of bhakti described in relation to the Lord are transmitted by the devotees of the Lord. They are taught by the devotees of the Lord. So therefore, one must seek the association of devotees so that one can make progress on the path of Krishna consciousness. Somebody like to read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, read this.
Observing the month of Kartika in Vrindavan or Mathura. In the Padma Purana, it is said, the Lord may offer liberation or material happiness to a devotee, but after some devotional service has been executed, particularly in Mathura during the month of Kartika, the devotees want only to attend pure devotional service unto the Lord. The purport is that the Lord does not award devotional service to ordinary persons who are not serious about it, but even such unserious persons who execute devotional service according to the regulative principles during the month of Kartik is within the jurisdiction of Mathura in India. Are very easily awarded the Lord's personal service. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, even if one is not inclined towards rendering pure devotional service, but somehow or the other, if one is able to render some service during the month of Kartik in Mathura, he becomes fortunate. And that is why many devotees during the month of Kartik, they spend their time in Mathura Vrindavan. During that month, there is an influx of pilgrims. There is a high turnout of visitors in the land of Vrindavan Mathura. A lot of people come just because they want to earn the credit of the period of Kartik in order to become eligible to render service to Krishna. So the month of Kartik is very auspicious. That's the time to accumulate, punya, piety that can lead to performing devotional service. And particularly, if one is fortunate to spend the month of Kartik in Braj, in Vrindavan, in Mathura, that is considered a great achievement. So therefore, it is recommended that one should spend Kartik in Vrindavan, in Mathura, then one can accumulate such credit that would facilitate one's progress in Krishna consciousness. So just as Lord Damodara is affectionate to his devotee, the month of Damodara is also affectionate to the devotees. Kartik is the month of Damodara. Even a little service performed during that month yields great results. By observing Damodara Vrat in Mathura even once, a devotee can easily achieve bhakti, which the Lord awards very rarely. Krishna does not easily award bhakti because as soon as Krishna awards you bhakti, subservient, you become his boss. So because of that, Krishna does not easily award pure devotional service. Because as soon as Krishna awards pure devotional service, Krishna becomes subservient, like we see in the case of Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, and so on. So, but if one is able to render some service during the month of Kartik in the land of Mathura, then Krishna becomes compelled. Krishna becomes much more favorably disposed towards such a devotee, and Krishna offers pure devotional service to such a devotee. So, observing Kartik in Vrindavan the month of is very auspicious, and we should plan in our lives to have that experience, going to Vrindavan during the month of Kartik to observe the month of Kartik, the Madarastaka in Vrindavan. Then we become much more fortunate to engage in devotional service. Somebody wants to read this?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna, go ahead.
Receiving Srimad Bhagavatam in the cyclic succession without any breakage. Srimad Bhagavatam should be received in the cyclic succession without any breakage. When a ripened fruit comes from the upper part of the tree onto the ground by the process of being handed down from a higher branch to a lower branch by persons, in the tree, the fruit does not break. Srimad Bhagavatam, when received in the Paramparan system or disciplic succession, will likewise remain unbroken. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that the disciplic succession or parampara is the way of receiving transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge must come down through the disciplic succession, through authorized persons who know the real purpose of the Shastra. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 12.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Baba.
Hare Krishna. So, the ripening knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam itself. Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam shuka mukat amrita dravya samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam muhur ahorasika bhuvi bhavikaha. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. Emanating from the lotus mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, it has become even much more tasteful. It has become sweeter. Just as when a parrot eats the fruit becomes sweeter. So therefore, relish the nectarian juice of Srimad Bhagavatam constantly, O expert and thoughtful devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the Vedic literatures. It was written by Srila Vyasadeva in the prime of his spiritual realization. Srila Vyasadeva, after compiling the Vedic literatures, he was despondent, he was not happy. And Narada Muni, his spiritual master, appeared before him and told him that even though you have written voluminous books on the Vedic literature, one thing you have not done is you have not directly glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is why you're unhappy. So he said, if you want to be happy, now you should write another scripture that describes the activities of the Lord directly. And so Vyasadeva, in the maturity of his spiritual life, he embarked upon writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And so, after he wrote it, he spoke to his son, Shukadeva Goswami. And Shukadeva Goswami, who is the parrot of Srimati Radharani, it's called Shuka. Shuka means parrot. In his previous life, Shukadeva Goswami was a parrot of Srimati Radharani. And so he had witnessed all the activities of Radha and Krishna. And in this lifetime, he received Srimad Bhagavatam from his father. And when he arrived in the arena where Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, and he wanted a solution to such a situation, everybody accepted Shukadeva Goswami as the right person to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Even his father was there. Narada was there. Parasara was there. So many great personalities were there. But they all stood up and offered Shukadeva Goswami the chance to speak Srimad Bhagavatam because he is a very special personality, being the parrot of Srimati Radharani, who received the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam from his very exalted father, Srila Vyasadeva, and a literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam has to be received in Paramparam. That is through the discipline succession. Just like a ripening fruit is passed from one person to the other person to the other person until it reaches the ground. If you drop this fruit from the top of the tree, it will burst, and some sand and death will enter the fruit and you cannot enjoy it. But if it is handed from one person to another person to another person until it gets to the ground, it is intact and no contamination, no sand, no stones. You can really relish such a fruit. So therefore, here the warning is we should not hear Srimad Bhagavatam from unqualified persons, from persons who are not devotees, from impersonalists, from sense gratifiers, because their presentation will be contaminated by their mood, by their attitude. And so we cannot get the full uh, uh, nectar of such a ripened fruit. So the best thing is to receive Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source. It is said that there are two types of Bhagavatams. I don't know whether the next verse is talking about it. Yes. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam through authorized devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended that in order to relish the real taste of Srimad Bhagavatam, one should take instructions from the person Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is relishable even by a liberated person. Shukadeva Goswami admitted that although he was liberated from within the very womb of his mother, it was only after relishing Srimad Bhagavatam that he became a great devotee. Thus, one who is desirous of advancing in Krishna consciousness should relish the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam through the discussions of authorized devotees. So there are two Bhagavatams, the book Bhagavatam and the person Bhagavatam. The pure devotee of the Lord who is drinking the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam is also called Bhagavatam. And the book Bhagavatam is also Bhagavatam. So it is said that one should receive Bhagavatam from the personality of Bhagavatam. So that is the recommendation here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, he is saying that we have to relish Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to receive Srimad Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. So we should not hear Bhagavatam from professional reciters. We should not hear Bhagavatam from Mayavadis. We should not hear Bhagavatam from impersonalists. We should not hear Bhagavatam from those who are absorbed in material sense gratification. Such hearing will not produce the desired result. Associating with flower-like devotees of the Lord. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, there is a conversation between Prahlad Maharaj and his father, Hiranyakashipu, in which Hiranyakashipu addresses Prahlad in this way. My dear son, association is very important. It acts just like a crystal stone, which will reflect anything which is put before it. Similarly, if we associate with the flower-like devotees of the Lord, and if our hearts are crystal clear, then certainly the same action will be there. So this is the reason why we should always seek the association of exalted devotees, because their hearts are free from fault finding, free from criticizing others, free from lust, free from greed, free from pursuing material, honor, fame, and so on. When we associate with such people, then such flower-like devotees will share with us their own qualities. It's often said, show me your friend and I will tell you your character. So associating with exalted devotees is very important, because one becomes influenced by such association. Tulayama levenapi naswagam napurna bhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya marshanam kim utasinaha. Associating with persons who are attached to the Lord is very, very important. Such attachments is necessary for the advancement of the soul. And we associate with people who are attached to devotional service, who are attached to speaking about the Lord, who are attached to Krishna consciousness. They will positively impact on our lives, and they will make us eligible for entering the spiritual world. So, unfortunately, I have to end the class here because I have another meeting at 8 o'clock Ghana time, and I have to be at the meeting on time. We didn't start on time because somehow or the other, the platform wasn't started on time. So, we'll end here. No. The timing of the class or whether there'll even be a class. I'll be at a festival next weekend. So we will see if it is possible whether we have class or not. I will let you know when I study the situation and see whether it's possible for us to have the class. I will send out an information to the effect of the class and the timing, and we'll take it from there. So I think Mataji wanted to ask a question yesterday, and we postponed it to today. Can you quickly ask your question, even though time is against me, Mataji? Hare Krishna. And if she's not there, then we better call it a day. Because Hare Krishna, you had a question yesterday. What is the question?
Yes. The question about I wanted to ask yesterday was in the offenses that before they said instructing a faithless person about the chanting of the holy name of the Lord.
Yeah.
So I want to ask regarding that faithless person. Who is this faithless people?
Well, the material world is full of faithless people. The material world is full of faithless people. Even though sometimes they may present themselves as religious, but they are also very faithless. It's like the Brahmana, when Narada was going to the Vaikuntha, he told the Brahmana he's going to Vaikuntha. And the Brahmana said, okay, find out from Lord Narayan, how soon am I coming back home? And when Narada told Lord Narayan told him that Brahmana is faithless. He will take 7 more lives before he will come home. And Narada was surprised. Why Lord Vishnu is saying this Brahmana is faithless? So Lord Vishnu said, all right, to test his faith, when you go back, he's going to ask you, what was Lord Narayan doing when you saw me? Tell him I was threading the needle of the eye of a needle with an elephant. And then immediately you will see whether he's faithful or faithless. So Narada went to the Brahmana, and the Brahmana was happy to see Narada, and he asked Narada, what is the message from Lord Vishnu? He said, sorry, Vishnu says you will take 7 more lives or 10 more lives. And the Brahman was very upset. He was angry. He said, what do you mean? You didn't go anywhere. You are just coming to tell me some story. Okay, tell me. when you went to the Vaikuntha Loka, what was Narayan doing if you actually went there? What was he doing? And Narada said, yes, when I got there, something very amazing was happening. The Supreme Lord Narayan was threading the eye of a needle with an elephant. And the Brahmana began to laugh very loudly. He said, just see, you are a hypocrite. You are a charlatan. You have gone nowhere. And you are coming to tell me that Lord Vishnu is threading the eye of a needle with a very huge elephant. Impossible. And Narada could understand that this Kabbalah, who also wanted to know how many lives he's going to live in this world before going back home. Lord Vishnu said, this very life, this Kabbalah is coming back to me. And Narada was also bewildered. He said, okay, tell the same story to the Kabbalah and see the difference. So when Narada told the Kabbalah that the Lord was threading the eye of a needle with an elephant, the Kabbalah began to dance. And he said, there is nothing impossible for Krishna. There is nothing impossible for my Lord. If a huge banyan tree can be fitted into a very tiny seed, why can the Lord thread the eye of a needle with an elephant? So, faithless people, they are all over the place, and particularly non-devotees, they are all faithless. But as preachers, we have to try to induce them. We have to try to guide them so that they can become faithful. So that is why we go out to preach. But when you come across very stubborn ones who are challenging you, they don't want to accept the power of the holy name. They don't want to accept Krishna consciousness. Then you don't waste your time preaching to such people. But if they are innocent, if they are submissive, if they would like to take some instructions, some guidance from you, there is no harm in preaching to them. But if they are challenging and they don't want to accept, then do not waste your time. If you continuously preach to such people, then it becomes an offense. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Raj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. I have to run for a meeting. I'm getting late. So I will send you some information regarding this weekend meetings, classes. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyaya vachaparikramavibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Hare
His
Krishna.
Holiness Bhakti Srivastvanachari
Srila
Maharaja
Prabhupada ki jai.
ki
Yeah.
jai.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Raj, I don't know if I have your slide. Can you please share the slide with us in the group?
Okay, I will see if it is possible. I can share with you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.